Have you ever quietly looked at your life and wondered if someone would appear, give you a hand to pull you out of the current deadlock? We grow up with a beautiful illusion that, if we are good enough, try hard enough, and wait patiently long enough, one day someone will open the door to change our lives. However, a harsh truth needs to be accepted: no one comes. This life does not owe you anything, does not send warnings before challenges come, or when opportunities and hopes are lost. It also does not care whether you are ready or not. If you are still waiting, still procrastinating, or still thinking that one day you will change, will succeed and live the life you want, then you are signing a sentence to imprison yourself in stagnation. The words you are reading are not random. Some part of you is waking up, urging, screaming, "I can't live like this another day." And you're right, you can't. Because every day you procrastinate is another day your life is rotting away. Every minute you spend waiting is another minute you're giving up control to the outside world. Don't let your life be stolen away so easily. Don't give up the power to decide your destiny to chance or chance. You weren't born to be mediocre, you were born to excel, to become the strongest version of yourself. And that only begins when you make the biggest decision of your life: focus on yourself. The power of focus on yourself. Focus here is not just a few hours of hard work or going to the gym 3 times a week. Focus here is an obsession, living, breathing, existing for yourself. It's about putting yourself first, using all your energy, time, and attention to build yourself, instead of looking to others, expecting someone else to help you, or worrying about things that are out of your control. Focusing on yourself is not selfish, it's the kindest thing you can do for yourself and the world. When you're strong, you're kinder. When you're self-reliant, you inspire others. When you succeed, you become living proof that anyone can do it if they put their mind to it. You can't control your circumstances, but you can absolutely control yourself. And if you do it long enough, deeply enough, persistently enough, your circumstances will change for you. So stop scrolling through social media to see what other people are doing. Stop complaining about what you don't have. Stop waiting for someone to understand, validate, or give you a chance. Stand up, look in the mirror and say, "From today, I am solely responsible for my life." Unchangeable commitment and timeless persistence. Have you ever stood in front of the mirror and said, "From tomorrow on, I will be different"? You wrote down your goals, made detailed plans, and promised yourself that this time you would follow through. But then just a few days later, everything disappeared, and you justified yourself: "I was busy, I was tired, I wasn't ready." You thought you were just pausing for a while, but in fact, you gave up. You let yourself go again. What's scarier than failure is repeating this cycle over and over again, until you no longer have enough faith to start again. Commitment is not a word said on a whim. Commitment is a life-or-death action, done quietly, regularly, regardless of emotions, regardless of circumstances. And discipline is the only language that commitment understands. Without discipline, all your promises to yourself are empty promises. You can't build a solid life on a foundation of inconsistent commitments. Every time you break a promise, you chip away at your self-confidence, and eventually you'll stop believing that you can change. Persistence isn't an inborn trait, it's a choice you make over and over again. Not just when things are going well, not just when you're feeling good, but especially on the days when you're not motivated at all. It's when you keep going that you're becoming the version of yourself you once admired from afar. Not because you're better than others, but because you're not disappearing. You don't have to move too fast, you just have to not stand still. A small step every day without giving up is more powerful than a few short bursts that fade away. And as long as you keep that rhythm, a small habit repeated long enough, you will be surprised at what you can do after 6 months, a year. Discipline is waking up even though your body wants to sleep more, opening a book even though your mind wants to surf social media, saying no to indulgence even though your heart wants to give up. Those seemingly small actions, when repeated, are what shape who you are. No one sees, no one applauds. But every time you choose correctly, you are laying another brick for your own solid foundation. You don't need anyone else to believe in you, you just need yourself to believe in you. And to do that, you have to do one thing: keep your word, not just once, but long enough to make it your nature. Successful people are not people who never deviate. They are lazy, tired, and want to give up. But the difference is that they don't let emotions dictate their actions, they let discipline guide them. You have to learn to show up, without fanfare, without anyone knowing. Just you, every day. Even if it's just 10 minutes, even if it's just a small thing, don't be absent. That repeated presence is more powerful than any course, any advice, any inspirational video. Because you don't need anyone to motivate you if you've made action a habit. And once you live with discipline, you'll find you no longer have to try, you simply live the way of the person who can. You can start anytime. But if you want to go all the way, you have to decide this: from today, I am a man of my word. Not to the world, but to myself. Whether anyone understands or not, whether the results come slowly, whether no one cheers me on, I will still do it every day without fail, without interruption. At some point, you will look back and see that everything you have, from your health, your career, your confidence, your respect, all started from a very small choice, the choice not to give up just because no one reminded you today, training your mind to overcome all outside noise. You are walking on a long road and suddenly hundreds of voices surround you. Some tell you that you are going in the wrong direction, others laugh at you for going too slowly. Some show pity, asking you, what is the point of doing this? Does anyone recognize it? Why don't you live simply like everyone else? And worst of all, there are voices that come from within you: doubt, worry, fear. That's the noise. It doesn't knock you down, but it disorients you. It doesn't stop you, but it wears down your will little by little, until you can't remember why you started. Having a vision in a world full of noise is a rare kind of strength. Because when you start a journey of change, almost no one believes in you. They are used to seeing you as you are, and any attempt to break out of that mold makes them feel uncomfortable. The more you move forward, the more you attract scrutiny, judgment, and criticism. Not because you are wrong, but because you make them face their own stagnation. And instead of changing, they will find a way to pull you back. You have to learn to navigate the crowds without consensus. Because if you need others' recognition, you have given the steering wheel of your life to them. Whatever they say, you go that way. If they are silent, you lose motivation. They doubt, you stop. It's not your path anymore, it's a borrowed life, where you're always waiting for a nod before you dare to be yourself. Vision isn't something you have when you're excited. Vision is something you hold on to when no one believes in you, no results, no support other than your own inner belief. Vision is the compass that keeps you going through the fog, through the ridicule, through the days when you want to give up the most. And the further you go, the more you realize that what keeps you going is not talent, not opportunity, but the persistence to hold on to what you see clearly in your mind even when it's not yet in the real world. The noise never goes away, but you can learn not to get caught up in it. Social media, false standards, short-term success stories, all of them can throw you off track if you don't know where you're going. You see someone else succeeding quickly, and you doubt your own path. You hear someone criticizing you, and you want to change direction to please them. But if you keep changing direction every time a different voice comes up, you will always go in circles and never reach your destination. Holding your vision is not about turning a deaf ear, but about being selective about what is worth listening to. Not every word is the truth. Not everyone will understand your vision because they do not see what you see. Don't expect them to support a journey they have never dared to take. Don't expect understanding from people who have never dared to change. You don't need their approval, you just need to not give up. Every journey will have its confusing moments. But when you keep a clear picture of the destination in your mind, you will always find your way back. Vision is not a vague goal, it is a promise you make to your future self. And if you don't protect that promise from the noise, you will forget what you wanted, why you started. Don't let the noise of the world drown out your inner calling. Take quiet time each day to reconnect with yourself, where your vision begins. Rewrite why you started, reimagine who you want to become. Remind yourself every day that you're not doing this to impress. You're doing this because you owe it to yourself to be better. Consistency in vision is what separates the leader from the follower. You may not be the fastest. But if you are the only one who doesn't get sidetracked, you will be the only one who gets where you want to go. And when you get there, you won't have to shout. The results will speak for the noise, the doubters, the sarcasm. They will all be silent. Not because you won the argument, but because you won with action, with steadfastness, with an unshakable vision. Fight for your dream when no one believes. No one is born to understand your dream, no one is designed to believe in the vision that only you can see clearly. And if you wait for someone else to nod before you dare to start, you will forever be at the starting line. Dreams are so sacred that sometimes even you doubt them, let alone outsiders. There will be people laughing, there will be people shaking their heads, there will be people asking what the hell you are doing. And worse, there will be days when you yourself no longer believe in what you once desired, but you must remember, you do not need the whole world to believe in you. You just need yourself not to give up. There will be days when you feel like everything is against you, no one understands you, no one supports you, no results, no motivation, no light at the end of the tunnel. That is not a sign that you should stop. That is the ultimate test to see if you are worthy of what you desire. Everyone is full of enthusiasm when they start. But only those who continue walking in the dark, in silence, in solitude are the ones who will reach places that few have reached. Do you think you need motivation to overcome? No. Motivation is emotion, and emotion is something that changes with the weather, with a sentence, with a tiredness. You do not need emotion to live, you need commitment. A commitment is a promise you won't break, no matter what your mood, no matter what life throws at you. When you commit, you no longer ask if you want to do it today, you only ask what is the right thing to do now. And then you do it, without cheers, without witnesses, without approval. Failure is not when you fall. Real failure is when you choose to stay. Everyone stumbles, everyone makes mistakes, everyone falls into a deep hole. But not everyone gets up. And between a winner and a loser, there is only one difference: one gets up again, the other doesn't. You are not defeated by falling, you are defeated by giving up. And the cruel thing is that most giving up doesn't happen in a decisive moment. It happens in silence, day by day, when you allow yourself to do less, rest more, procrastinate a little longer, and finally stop. You don't have to be strong, you just have to not give up. There will be days when you want to scream, to disappear, to go back to the safety of your old life. But at that moment, if you stand up one more time, you will learn the most valuable thing: you are not as weak as you think, you are much stronger than you think. It's just that you have never stayed long enough to see that strength rise. No one owes you faith, but you owe yourself resilience. Because if you don't believe in your dream, if you don't have the courage to fight for it, who will do it for you? No one will. And that's why you have to be the one to stand up. Not because you are always steadfast, but because you are the only one responsible for your own life. Look back, how many times have you prepared very well, set clear goals, started with determination and then given up halfway? How many times have you said this time will be different but repeated the same scenario? Not because you are incapable, but because you lack one thing: the ability to keep fighting when nothing else in you wants to keep going. That is the golden moment to transform. Because behind the tired shell, after the discouragement, after the storm of doubt, if you are still walking, you have become a completely different person. No one will remember how many times you started. The world only remembers where you went. And if you give up before reaching the destination, all the previous efforts will no longer have meaning. So, if you find yourself in the middle of an arduous journey, if you are wondering whether to continue or not, choose to continue. Because every time you do so, you are training something that no school can teach you: the spirit of a warrior. Don't expect anyone to understand your path. Don't seek approval from people who have never dared to live for themselves. They may laugh at you today, but they will be silent when you win. Not because you have proven anything to them, but because you have proven to yourself, you can overcome. You cannot give up when all the reasons to give up are present. And one day, when you look back, you will be grateful to yourself for not giving up, not falling, not leaving the journey just because no one believes, no one understands. You did what most people only dare to think in their heads. You fought when there was no applause, and that has made you unbeatable. Own your life. No blame, no excuses. Everything that happens in your life, from success to failure, from opportunity to outcome, bears an undeniable fingerprint. It is your own mark. Not your parents, not your lover, not your boss, not society. Every decision you make, every compromise you agree to, every time you procrastinate or move on, all contribute to shaping the outcome you are living today. And if you want to change your life, the first thing you have to do is stop blaming, stop making excuses. Start taking full responsibility for everything. No excuses, no whining, no finger pointing. There is only one person left to pay the price, and that is you. The truth is, no one is coming to save you. There is no special day to start over. No one is going to give you a chance if you don't stand up for it. Every day you make excuses, you are giving up control of your life. Every time you say, "I can't because," you are giving control to circumstances. And so you live a life that others decide, from what time you wake up, what you do for a living, how you dream, until you realize you have lost yourself in the seemingly reasonable series of days. To master your life, you must dare to cut out all the things that distract you. Distractions do not come from noisy places. They come from not being serious enough. Every time you check your phone in the middle of work, every time you look at something for fun and then scroll for hours, every time you promise to do something and then procrastinate, you are draining your willpower. And the cruel thing is that you do not realize the damage immediately. It does not come in a day. It comes in repetition, in habit. Until you lose the ability to focus, lose the ability to work deeply, lose the commitment that once made you burn. No one forced you to compromise. You chose it. You chose to be easy on yourself instead of being harsh. You choose temporary comfort over long-term results. You choose short-term emotions over lasting value. And then you wonder why you never get far. The answer lies in the choices you make every day. The difference between great people and mediocre people is not their ability, but their ability to be disciplined, to cut out the nonsense, and to focus all their energy on what they believe is worth it. You have to work like there is no tomorrow. Not because you are afraid of death, but because you understand that today is the only asset you truly own. Everything you dream of begins with how you use each hour of today. You can use it to scroll on your phone, to talk nonsense, or to get a little closer to your goal. There is no perfect day to start, only today. And if you don't use today, you won't use tomorrow. Successful people don't work harder than others. They work deeper, clearer, more intensely. They don't wait for inspiration, they create their own rhythm and maintain it without interruption. They don't need anyone to remind them, they don't need anyone to acknowledge them. They understand that if they don't act, no one will do it for them. If they fail, no one will suffer the consequences except themselves. And so they act with a sense of urgency, without waiting, without delay, without hesitation. The future doesn't belong to the smartest person, it doesn't belong to the most qualified person, it belongs to the person brave enough to never give up. The person stubborn enough to continue despite failure. The person determined enough to maintain principles in the midst of emotional waves. The person sober enough not to get lost in the noise of society. That person is not a stranger, it is you. If you choose to live without excuses for anything you haven't done, owning your life is not a slogan, it is a choice. And that choice comes with obligations. You cannot want freedom and blame, you cannot demand results and make excuses. Either you take full responsibility, or you will be dragged by circumstances, forever living a life designed by others. And if you are tired of living half-heartedly, if you are tired of starting and quitting, if you are hurt enough by seeing others move forward while you stand still, then stop, look straight in the mirror and say, from today on, I am no longer blaming. I am the only one responsible for this life and I will act accordingly, not waiting another day. In each person's life journey, the hardest thing is not starting but maintaining. Not dreaming a big dream but protecting that dream every day against temptation, doubt and noise from the outside. It is not a lack of knowledge, but a lack of discipline, a lack of inner direction to turn knowledge into consistent action. Ultimately, what separates successful people from those who are always struggling is not circumstances, luck, or starting point, but rather mindset and the ability to master themselves. When you blame, you are giving control of your life to others. When you wait for motivation, you are letting emotions lead your destiny. When you procrastinate, you are trading the future for instant comfort. Real change does not start with what you do, but with who you become. You must become a person who makes no excuses, does not need anyone to urge you, and is alert enough to keep going even when nothing else motivates you. It is at that point that your life begins to be reshaped from the inside out. You cannot master your money, your work, or your relationships if you do not first master your own mind and behavior. Any financial skills, any wealth-building strategies, any long-term plans will be meaningless if you do not have a solid foundation of inner strength to pursue it to the end. Start each day with a small action that shows you are taking responsibility for your life. Record your expenses, read a book, work for 2 hours without interruption, or simply refuse a meaningless entertainment to spend time studying. Those small things, when repeated continuously, will be the foundation to help you build a better version of yourself. If you find this content useful and inspiring, do not hesitate to click like and share this video so that many others can also benefit from this valuable information. Thank you for listening and joining us on the journey of self-development.